morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Alero Edu, welcoming you to your Saturday morning Waker Upper.
I'm Ayo Makide. Good morning, and well, she's here again. She's awake, loud, and wide awake and cheery. Played tennis in the course of the week, and it was raining, and she couldn't play more than one set. Welcome to the program this morning. It's up to you.
Excuse me. How come what I did in the course of the week is a subject of
national interest? Well, maybe to just say that you are never too old to play tennis or exercise or whatever. So if someone is feeling like, I'm too old, I can't do this, well, she does it. And she's just 15 anyway, but so maybe that's why. As you were saying.
Well, I can't argue with you, so let me just roll on, as they say. Oh, yes. 2 years of Tinubu's administration, which is what? 10 years of APC government now, and 26 years of uninterrupted democracy.
I think I'm more
the Fourth Republic.
I think I'm more interested in the last one. Uninterrupted democracy. You cited the Second Republic the other time, and how that every time people woke up, about 100 million Nigerians were cursing, the president of the day. And, the First Republic, maybe we didn't even really have much of that. Just that the political class was still very, very naive about what governance was, politics was at the time. So all kinds of things happened. Then the Third Republic, of course, never really got off the ground. But this Fourth Republic, I think we just decided that it was time. The only painful thing for me is that the people who fought for it for 8 straight years, 1993 to 1999. That's
the Nadekos of this world.
Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah.
The 6 straight years, many of them said, no, we're not going to be a part of it. So what do you fight for it? So if we are going to say, okay, some people are taking undue advantage, let's ask those who didn't take advantage, who fought for it, and still, I don't know. I don't really know what to say. But it's a good thing to celebrate that part.
Yes.
26 straight years, we have had unbroken democracy. And let's not deceive ourselves, Alero. You've been around for long enough to know that things have only gotten worse over the years, irrespective of what government was in office.
Well, the thing is, I followed all kinds of analysis during the week about 2 years of Tinubu's administration. And what was going through my mind is, you only need to ask one question. So, excuse me, sir. Has your life been better in the last 2 years? That is the only question you need to ask. And except those who are milking us dry in Abuja, of course, and in other places in the state capitals, I think everybody's answer to that is going to be no.
My take on that, Alero, would be, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would buy electricity for, say, X amount. It will last X number of days before. Now it's reduced by a fraction or two. Now,
a fraction.
I'm just saying. It could be one figure, it could be 1 digit, it could be 2 digits. But the
I used to buy for 50K. I'm now buying for 130K a month.
How many of an idea?
Just me. Just me.
We'll come back to that one. But
one air conditioner at night.
The point that I'm making about that is maybe you are on band A+. plus. Exactly. But the point that I'm making is, and I ask this question all the time, Alero. Every time we're talking about Nigeria, a better Nigeria, we're talking only about the federal government. Why? I was in a question that I was putting out to one of our guests. I said, look, if we put together the budgets of all 36 states, it definitely is more than the budget of the federal government.
So let's face the states.
So if we are saying that we are not doing better, there is no one in Nigeria who is not living inside the state. You are living in Nigeria, but then you are living in a particular flat in Nigeria.
And that flat is in a particular street.
And that flat is in a particular
town, in a particular
local government, and in a particular state. So what are we talking about here? Okay. You have 10 employees. Okay. Not just the president. You have 10 employees, direct employees, who have their own aides. You have a president, you have a deputy, a vice president, you have a governor, deputy governor. That's 4 staff already. You have a member of House of Representatives. You have a
senator.
A senator. That's 6. You have a local government chairman, you have a member of House of Assembly, you have a... Come on. So all these people, if we are saying that Nigeria is not... let's not point a finger at only one person. All of them are collecting salary. And you say they are making us dry, there are plenty.
Slow down, slow down, slow down.
Sorry.
Please, when you see any of those governors, tell them that they are serving you, whether you will not end up in jail.
That is why you are here, to help me to make noise and make sure that they release.
They don't see themselves as our servants. They see themselves as our bosses. So, look, coming to work this morning, there's a particular road that we all know is one-way traffic. Somebody with pilot car and police car and this with siren was driving against that traffic. Who is going to stop him? Nobody has the courage to stop him because he has the trappings of power. It is the powerful people who are teaching us these bad things that we do.
I refuse to agree with you, and here is why. Ask a common truck driver for government, any government, whether a Lagos state or even a local government, so long as he has a local government number, they think they are lords of the manor. They think they are the ones, they can drive anyhow they want, they can go anywhere they like, and they will drive against traffic and nobody is going to stop them.
And the Oga who is in that vehicle lets him.
You just said it now. He's on a convoy. These guys are supposed to know what to do. The systems are not protected by the people who are at the top. They are protected by the people who are there. As I've given this argument several times, the person who is elected for 8 years and the person who is employed for 35 years. Who is government? Who is supposed to sustain the system? It's the civil service that's supposed to sustain the system.
You know this civil service matter, you brought it up again, but we don't have time to discuss the evil service today. Let's just leave it.
Why did you remove the C now?
It's there.
Just silent.
It's there. It's there. Oh yes, this Nigeria First business. Are you seeing any signs that anybody is beginning to put Nigeria first? Maybe by example or any other way?
Okay.
Or is it too soon?
Wait.
I'm waiting.
Supreme Court judgment granting local government autonomy, financial and administrative autonomy.
Yeah.
The ruling came July last year.
Yeah.
Has it been implemented? And this Nigeria First just came how many weeks?
Wait.
You are now saying...
Okay, you wait. Before you tell us subsidy is gone, there's some groundwork you should have done. So that when you say subsidy is gone, we gone it
totally
without feeling too much pain. And then you come again and say, Nigeria first. What groundwork did you do so that Nigeria first will take effect through examples which you yourself are going to lay?
I go back to the civil service. It was in the government of Gowon.
Oh.
Do you remember him? General Yakubu Gowon.
How can I forget Gowon?
Good. That the federal government of the day said the official vehicle of Nigeria shall be
Peugeot
504 for the president. That ruling or directive or policy or whatever it was, and Nigeria was making these vehicles. That policy was never overruled. But guess what? The government immediately after it, the president was using Mercedes-Benz.
But he had a 504 in the fleet.
Even Tinubu, when he became governor, he was using 504 as governor.
In the fleet,
So
in the fleet.
Nigeria first is first. Nigeria is already first. Let me not even get started on that.
So the president is asking National Assembly to approve a request to borrow some more money. I think $21 billion. Something like that. And what is crossing my mind is, okay, so subsidy was removed, so we were making money from there. But although most of that is being divided among the states, you know.
And they're getting more money.
They are getting more money, and we're not seeing anything for it. So we're borrowing more money. And then EFCC say that they have recovered some amount of money.
$100 and something million and 200 and something million naira.
All we're hearing is we're borrowing some more, and we're borrowing some more, and we're borrowing some more.
The only people who can ask are the economists and accountants and bankers. Let them help us understand that one, because even myself, I don't understand it. Don't you recover BC so that you can block some others?
All right, okay. So this morning we're going to start by talking about Nigeria's Fourth Republic, 26 years of unbroken democracy. We're going to talk about that to start today's program.
And then you remember that conversation about students writing exams
in the middle of the night?
No, with torchlight.
Sorry.
Okay, torchlight. And it was not CBT.
And we shall put our own torchlight.
we shall torchlight the matter.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's what we'll be discussing, the second conversation we'll be having this morning.
And that will be followed by utilizing nuclear tech for development.
About time, Nigeria. And lifestyle today will lead us to ask the question how you, whether or not you understand the language your children are speaking today. For instance, what is Riz? R-O-I-Z-Z. It doesn't know. You'll learn later this morning as we discuss modern parenting language on lifestyle.
And as is usual, on Sunrise, we shall close with the Artist of the Week segment. And all I will reveal to you is that he is a he.
When I hear he like that...
He is not a she.
When I hear he like that, the normal word that follows is he goat. But he's not a goat, so...
He is a he.
So please, grab your cup of cocoa.
Or cocoa, whichever you prefer.
And we'll join you, well, spend this, as Alara would say, 3 odd hours with us. Okay. Let's talk about Nigeria's Fourth Republic, and thank you again for sticking with us. Nigeria's Fourth Republic is 26 years of age. Ordinarily, we should roll out the drums, shouldn't we? And call 1 or 2 musicians. You know.
And cook jollof rice.
Well, but that jollof rice will be partisan because I don't know what they eat in Uyo.
No matter where the party is at, jollof rice will be there, among other things.
But obviously, we are not doing that.
No, sadly.
It sounds or feels or seems like democracy remains on shaky ground because the pressure groups that fought for it, civil society organizations, various unions, and everyday Nigerians tend to have largely abandoned their civic duties, leaving politicians to dominate the landscape. In hindsight, stakeholders must now collaborate to rescue Nigeria's hard-earned democracy. Question: how? Conversations around that this morning with 3 gentlemen joining us this morning. Dr. Monday Ubani is a senior advocate of Nigeria. He's right here in the studio with us. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Ayo, thank you.
Also, we have Mr. Idoriyeng Enang, who is a business and a strategic thought leader. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Ayo. Morning.
We also have with us, joining us virtually from California, USA, Dr. Toye Shobande, who is a strategic leadership consultant. Thank you for joining us this morning, Dr. Shobande.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me begin with you, Dr. Ubani. 26 years on, I remember when I called you yesterday and we were having this conversation, the first question you asked was, is Nigeria's the oldest democracy in Africa?
Yes. Right.
And I checked and I found out that there is a democracy in Africa that's 66 years old.
Correct. Botswana. My
shock was shocked.
Yeah, 1966, as far back.
Botswana, that little country.
Yes, since 1966.
And that was the year we terminate our first
that's correct.
So, what's that got to do with the conversation? Because you definitely, it was like a spontaneous question asked.
Yeah, I mean, we are said to be the giant of Africa. So I wanted to know whether we actually number one in terms of uninterrupted democracy. So I found out that Ghana is older than us. Even Benin Republic is older than Nigeria. Yes.
Oh dear.
Within the West African sub-region, those ones have uninterrupted civilian rule. More than us, where you are acting of rolling the drums and beating the drums. Yeah, there are some reasons for us to celebrate because we were under authoritarian administration for too long, and it actually retarded our growth. Mm-hmm. We didn't make much progress. Respect the fact that under the military you can take decision without any interference, without all the democratic niceties and all that. But yes, but they didn't take us far like other nations. There are other nations that were under the military and they went so far in terms of development. So ours is that we went backwards. 1963 Constitution was a constitution that actually allowed proper federalism to be operated on. And the regions were doing so well. There was a region one of the regions in Nigeria was one of the fastest growing regions, in the world, under that constitution until the military incursion. And they now streamlined everything, make sure that unify everything. And we have continued with that process. The 1979 constitution, the 1999 constitution that we're operating is still not, has not created this issue of proper federalism in the country. And it has retarded our growth. We are not making much progress because everything is centralized bureaucracy.
So, Dr. Obama, why do we then call ourselves the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
It's a name, but not in reality, and that is the truth. You can't be operating a federal, constitution, and you have virtually everything, being handled by the federal, by the center, everything. It's recently that there has been some measure of, division. I mean, allowing the state now to come into electricity, generate, and transmit, and all before now it is federal that does everything, and you can't make progress in that regard. The time of the 60s, if you remember, University of Nigeria was established in 1960. There was this competition in the southwest, University of Ife, eventually. Then there was ABU. There was this, healthy competition. When it comes to agriculture, remember the Grand North Pyramid? Remember what was going on in the west? The first television in the country was in the southwest, Before you know it, other state regions were also competing.
In Africa.
So that spirit of competition was there. But when the military came in, they now ensured that everything is centralized. Now, individual regions and states were not allowed to now, develop at their pace. Everyone must, be at the pace that the federal government detects, and you can't make progress with such, method of, the process, that you have adopted. So that is where we are going to really. There are rooms for us to. I mean, there are issues that you look at. It's okay, pass. Good. But there are many other challenges we need to actually highlight in this program, so that those who are policymakers can look at it and say, look, where have we gotten it wrong? Can we correct ourselves, And that is where responsible leadership comes in. Yeah.
Mr. Enan, one of the major challenges for me is, and I've discussed it quite a number of times, I raise it as a question from time to time, and that is the issue of communication. When we started, we were, talking about how that certain things that were policies of the federal government were torpedoed by subsequent administrations over the years. And something that Lero also said is like, we don't seem to be asking the right questions. And when we have questions to ask, we don't seem to know who to ask. We don't get a kind of accountability. Perhaps the issue or challenge for me is whether or not, over the past 26 years, we have had a measure of communication from whatever tier of government we have with people that can create the kind of development momentum that we need over the past 26 years.
Yeah, you're right, Ayo. I think in the scheme of things, communication is a big piece. It's the entire world, and everything that we survive on is built on communication. I mean, as simple as having a grain of seed. If you drop it on the ground and there isn't a communication between the soil and the seed, you're not going to get anything. That is how powerful communication is. 26 years, we've, you know, I heard my my SAN talk about, you know, having walked away from the militarization, that mindset. But the reality is that when you see the way we run our communication protocol, it's still very top-down. No questions asked. It's command and control. And so the citizenry get beaten to some extent. However, you'll find little light bulbs here and there. And then the light bulbs come, but they're not enough to, you know, create that conflagration. What am I saying? Take it from 1999. As a people, we have our own protocol in terms of learning and hearing. Nigerians are not, you know, like the Yoruba, you know, I'm not, my Yoruba is not very good. You know, they'll say, Anshenoriro. They're not soft meat. Nigerians are very, very solid. So, you know, if you go by the nature of the people and what their reactions will be, it will look like we need to be, it forces us to be applied. So even in communicating, even in terms of policies, you find policies are done not, you know, going through the process. Some go through process. When the time comes for execution, maybe one or two people are aware. And then the next thing is you pounce on the citizenry and you start telling them they're failing to abide by the rules, yet they're not aware. So awareness is a big factor. Interest is a big factor.
What do you mean by that?
When I mean interest in understanding that what you are communicating is not going through. And I think we still have that running in our system.
Is there even an attempt or a plan to communicate or just to pass information? I think that's also been mistaken for a while.
Part of what may happen, and I've heard many colleagues and friends of mine, we've opined that when you have a Ministry of Information, there's a difference between a Ministry of Information and a ministry that will have the citizenry by way of citizen engagement. So what is your objective? We have Ministry of Information, and what do we inform? We put out, the protocol goes out, and we expect everybody to development. There's a development index at different levels, whether a toddler, whether a kid, whether a young, and all the way to an adult. Even adults have varied degrees of learning. So I do not think we've synthesized that. And the real way to galvanize our country really sits around the people. Nigerians are great people. Nigerians are absolutely fabulous. I've had the privilege in several, across the different corporations I've had the privilege to lead or work with. And you find Nigeria is just one country that stands out. I mean, when I talk Nigeria, I'm talking about the people. However, how come we do so well when we are in a certain setting and when we come home, we do so poorly? Big question.
It's a question. Some of the questions to be asked again this morning.
Dr. Shobande, it's often said that any kind of democracy is better than a military government. No matter how bad that democracy is, it is still better than a military government. But you will recall that a few years ago in this country, there were muffled calls and muffled wishes for the military to take over Nigeria. I mean, what are your thoughts about that? The way our politicians are going, do you think that they're giving us democracy or the dividends thereof to make us happy as a people, to make us want to be and proud to be Nigerians? Dr. Shobande?
He's speaking, but we're not hearing him.
I think you need to unmute, please. Okay. But I'm sure that we'll sort that out in a bit. Because we can't hear you yet, so if you want to kindly unmute so that we can hear you better. But we'll go on while we wait for you.
Dr. Obani?
Beautiful question.
Would you like to react to that?
Yes. The democracy is still better than, honestly, if you ask me. It's sometimes out of frustration when you are not getting the dividends, of those things, that you are supposed to enjoy under democratic regime. Then you now begin to, long for, military regime where you think there are actions, but those actions are not well-rooted action. They are not fundamental. They actually take you backwards. I will prefer civilian. I will prefer democratic institutions and democratic governance, to military authoritarianism. That's me. No matter whatever you think you could enjoy under the military regime, if we have responsible leadership under civilian, responsible leadership, that is what is, that is actually like, if you have it, you enjoy everything that you need to enjoy. My take, when a new government comes in, I would expect a new government to say, okay, what the previous government, what were the errors? What were they doing? They were not doing right. What do I now have to do in order to, make the people that have elected me very happy? You may talk about, making somebody happy.
Yeah.
The Bible even says that when the righteous is upon the throne, what happens? The people rejoice. There must be evidence of the fact that, oh, you have elected me and I owe you that responsibility of giving you back good governance. Then what are the errors we need to omit? Now, we believe that we have oil, crude oil, in very large quantities. And then God knows that God, gave us that for us to, enjoy as a nation. I see no reason why, after how many years we got political independence, we have not been able to have a functional refinery as a nation. I see no reason why I want to drive from Lagos to East. I cannot drive on a smooth road. I'm now in Abuja, it's only Abuja, maybe Akwa Ibom, you can talk about good roads. I'm a student in Babcock. I'm almost running my program up. I can't drive from my house in Magodo to that particular school on a smooth road. Your car will be, why? Going to East, you can't go to Abuja. Traveling by road, my brother, I prefer going by, to flying. Because you see beautiful scenery when you are driving, but you can't do that anymore. One issue of insecurity, and then the roads are not even. So I'm saying, what are the leaders doing when you come in and say, okay, these are the errors committed by the previous government, I want to correct it, and then you address them and begin to address them. And with the issue of electricity, why can't we have uninterrupted light? For almost maybe 18 hours, if it's not 24. Why is it impossible? Other nations are enjoying it, we're richer than them. So this issue of, military coming in and all that, I won't advocate for it. It's out of frustration, you see, Nigerians. If you have responsible leadership under civilian administration, you have so much to enjoy. In terms of even freedom of expression. All the rights enshrined in the Constitution, you enjoy it under you can't enjoy it under the military, So I will still prefer, civilian and democracy. Yes, I don't know what.
You seem to agree with it.
I do, actually. I do.
Okay. Well, Dr. Shubande, that question was meant for you, but perhaps the angle to take that question now for you would be the leadership end of it. The challenge people are having is, look, this is not working, and maybe, would you say that we're in too much of a hurry? It's 26 years down the line. We ought to be seeing better. That's the argument a number of people will bring up.
If I'm paying school fees for my child to go to university and learn engineering, and it's still saying ba 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 ba, I'll be worried, isn't it? I'll be worried. If I'm working day and night and spending thousands of dollars to pay for your college tuition, and you can't spell your own father's name, wouldn't I be concerned? I will be concerned. It's only natural, but I would not agree to the fact that we should begin to call for military intervention. That would be completely unacceptable. That is just a symptom of a problem with leadership. There's a lack of trust. There's a heavy trust deficit. That is why we cannot actually talk about the gains of democracy. Democracy is not just built on conducting elections every 4 years. That is not the framework for defining democracy. And that is exactly the orientation we have in this part of the world, where our definition of democracy starts and ends at electioneering. No. Those who founded democracy founded it on a leadership philosophy that is backed by vision.
That's right.
Where are we going and how do we get there? Why are we going to where we want to go? What do we need to get to where we want to go? So the question is, when we came together as a nation, even though it was forced, even though it was not something we planned or we wanted, but can we go back to the drawing table and ask ourselves, why are we a nation? What makes us a nation? It's just not the tribes, the tongues, the languages alone, but a clear vision of a preferable future. So every time we go through that electoral cycle, we are voting for a vision for the future. So there is no vision of a clear future for Nigerians to vote for or to relate with. And that's why you see that desperation, you see that despair of saying, are we not better off under the military? The truth of the matter is the military led us to where we are, but we can't continue to blame. We can't continue to lament. The days of lamentations are over. Right. The question now is, can we have responsible leadership? And like I always say, whenever you invite me over here, that leadership is just not in the hands of those who are in political office alone. Mm-hmm. Leadership is responsibility. And the responsibility of leadership is a co-creation effort of those who occupy positions of authority and those who are responsible to bring them into accountability. And that's the electorate. But we seem to be walking on one leg, and we are now worried that we are not running as fast as we ought to run because we're only walking on one leg. And that is, we are only focused on those who occupy office. Those who occupy office are not necessarily leaders. They just occupy a position. A position without vision is what leads to the frustration that we have now. They don't have a clear vision or direction for why they are in office. That's why you will see someone who is in House of Assembly or the Senate talking about road projects, talking about building a computer lab. That is a that's a complete lack of understanding of his core function as a person who makes laws to back the progress of the nation, to support policies that will enhance a realistic future for the people. So the leadership there's a co-creation element of the followership. A co-creation element of the followership is what is missing. Is the followership powerful enough to question and call to accountability those who occupy political office?
The question is how, Dr. Shobande, because the challenge, that you would also reference in that regard is, it would seem like it's an ideal, but then it would seem like there are no structures that are strong enough to call to question anything that can invoke the kind of change that the people want. So let me ask you of that question.
There are structures, there are institutions.
Okay.
Those institutions have just been weakened over the years. The institution where you could actually, not just only from the constitutional provision, but where, for example, in the case of checks and balances between the three arms of government, the citizens have a right to call for some things that probably it's impeding the will of progress. For example, there's been a debate over the fact that professors these days do not have enough in their pension to take care of themselves. And there's a cry over the fact that legislators and those who are in the executives are getting a lot of remuneration for themselves. Okay, can we go to court and ask for the clear implementation of the provisions in the Constitution or in our laws that makes room for implementation of remuneration for those who are in political office? There's so many gaps. There's so many areas.
All right. Let me bring the same question to Mr. Anna, but This time around, there's something that he spoke about, coming up with the right kind of infrastructure and all those things. A good number of people who made that call, based on the question that Lero asked Dr. Ubani earlier, is that, look, some of the most durable infrastructure that we use today, they were constructed by the military. The most daring ones, so to speak, except for now that the president is, embarking on this coastal highways and all of that. The third mainland bridge, for instance, was a moribund project until the Babangida administration came and said, we're going to complete this. And maybe one or two others like that. And ask project management, the Chartered Institute of Project Managers, they will tell you that there are more than 50,000 abandoned projects all across the nation. So when we're talking about infrastructure, social infrastructure, and human development, over the past 26 years, is it yay or nay? Is it hue and cry, or boom or gloom or doom?
Ayo, you've asked me a very serious question, and I'd like to turn the apple cart. Is this item called infrastructure that has put us where we are? Beautiful bridges, build roads, but we don't build the people. The people you do not build will end up destroying whatever infrastructure you put together. So we pump a lot of money building these majestic edifices. And by the way, it would be nice to take account of the supposed infrastructure versus the ones that are abandoned. Government has not really operated as a continuum. There's a lot of denial. But the minute we take on the people factor, I'd love a situation, and I know you might turn around and tell me this is, I'm wishing what may not happen. But think about it for a moment. Doc, walk with me, and Alero, that we had an administration that will come in and say, for 4 years, this is about, the campaign, and the vision is, we want to go through a massive reorientation. We want to have that transformational mindset. And what it means is, it means that people are old habits or mind traps, mindsets have to be, brought down, and new habits will be formed for us to have a transformational mindset. Wow. When we get there, through the 4 years, then we get into stuff that would have to do with the people structure, infrastructure. And that basically means that the people are going to go through some good education, understand that if this table is meant to house what you're putting on, that is its function. But if we don't do that and we keep building the tables, the people see the tables as their own source for firewood, and you can't stop them from taking it. I'll tell you what happened a couple of days back. I just came back from home to bury my dad. And my driver, Lekon, we were in Uyo, and he saw all the barricades there intact. Lekon's never been to Akwa Ibom. This was his first time. And he said, Oga, now, what is the difference between
this thing
having
been destroyed, they're still standing?
Basically, those barricades that you cross, on Atiku Highway, and all of that, they're standing. But the ones in Lagos get smashed. What's the difference? Same people, same country. We are building infrastructure, not building the people at the same time. They will destroy it. So you ask yourself, which is better? That you invest in building the people, and then within the context of that, you now start making them. I like the fact that he talked about co-creation, letting them have that responsibility. So there's a role for leaders, there's also a role for the followership, and we see it as a joint project. But when you have a budget where someone says, I'm building this for you, and then you commission, without having commissioners in those that will use it, they will destroy it. That's it for me.
Dr. Bani,
yes.
Please listen to this. This is 1983. Shagari's campaign promises.
That's correct.
Free qualitative education guaranteed. Electricity and water for every town and village. Effective medical services plus self-sufficiency in food production. Industrial transformation of Nigeria and more houses for the masses.
That's correct.
1983.
It's 50.
42 years
42.
on, we're still campaigning, or the politicians are still campaigning the same things. So where should our confidence come? I mean, our confidence in democracy. What are we getting out of this democracy that we're talking about, that is this old and yet hasn't given us any of the promises made to us?
Recently, there was this particular bill before the House of Reps, issue of compulsory voting, because there was...
Did you have to go there?
Yeah, because the apathy was becoming very, very dangerous. That if they don't take any step, it will come to a situation where at every election cycle, you will have 1 or 2 persons only coming to vote. And that is more dangerous. So they thought that the only way to solve that, let's make it compulsory. But the people said no. Try as much as possible to do the normal electoral reforms. Let the vote of the people count. You don't need to force any person. People will ordinarily troop out to go, and that's what they're saying, right? Look at the promises that were made in 1983, and as I speak to you, this is 2023, and we're still saying the same thing all over. And things are not getting better. When I was in the university in 1983, I saw white people in University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I saw white people, Indians,
students.
Yes, students.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't see any of them anymore. Our students are actually going abroad, even people send as far as starting from primary school in UK and other countries, because of the educational system has actually collapsed. The same with health. The same with all the basic infrastructure. You were saying something, or was it my brother saying, sometimes Nigerians will begin to look at the legislator and say, you are talking about road and all that they should concentrate on lawmaking. But the point is that the reality is that if you go and concentrate on lawmaking, without having any visible infrastructure in your constituency, you are not going back there. They will not re-elect you. You see, issue of, our orientation.
Education.
Thank you.
Orientation.
Yes.
What he's talking
what
about.
I agree with you.
Yes.
Because the deficiencies are much. We have so much deficiencies in the entire system. So you're now looking up to a legislator now to be the one to come and give light and, and all that. Give water and all that.
Yes, that's not his job.
That's not a good role. That's a wrong, role assignment you have given to a legislator because of the deficiencies. So what we're saying is that those promises were made. Those promises were never at any time being fulfilled. And that's why good responsible leadership comes out. Okay, what are the errors of the past administration, which is what I had said before. If I come in now as a governor, I will look at what the other governors who have ruled my state have done. That is wrong. Then how do I now correct those things and then be in tune, alignment with the people that I'm governing? It's very important. But most times those questions are not being asked. You just continue, and then the same system, as he has said, continue. Oh, I want to build road, I want to. Issue of human capital development, which he has emphasized, is one of the most fundamental factors in governance, in good governance. If you don't get the people properly oriented, or orientated, they will always do the wrong thing.
So, what,
Dr. Shobande, sorry. Dr. Shobande, I can't remember where I was hearing something this week about leaders actually talking to their people and asking them what they wanted. Not just sitting in his office and determining, okay, I will give this one borehole, I will give this one light. Are you sure that is their immediate need? Shouldn't they be liaising with us and asking us what our needs are so that they can give us what we need at every point in time?
Yes. That's the ideal thing to do. The real needs of the people and the felt needs of the people. But because those we have in political office are not even trained, they are illiterate when it comes to leadership capabilities. They are not educated with sound leadership skills. They just became accidental occupiers of leadership positions, but does not necessarily make them a leader. It's like asking a man to dress as a woman. He's not a woman, even though he's dressed as a woman. So occupying a political office does not necessarily confer leadership skill. And leadership only happens when there's an agreement between the person who occupies the leadership role and the people who submit as a matter of choice for this person to lead us. That's when leadership takes place. And that's what I was trying to explain earlier, that we have a caricature, we have a kwashiorkor understanding of leadership. Leadership is just not one person occupying a position. Leadership happens when there is an agreement between someone saying, I agree for you to lead me, I offer myself to lead you. That is when we now ask ourselves, like, what would you want me to do for you? How can I represent you? How do you want me to lead you? Yeah. It is when we are at that level of understanding between the followership and the leader, or the followers and the leader, that's when leadership happens.
Is it too late, Dr. Shobande, is it too late to get there? Here's my question, here's the reason for asking. Because one would expect that at certain levels, constituency engagements and all of that, the elected official would go back home and say, guys, you know, let's have a round table. Let's have a community engagement. I don't know if that is something that happens as they should.
In fairness, some of those things are done. In fairness, some of those things are done, but I just done to tick the box.
That's the point that I'm making, Dr. Shobande. That is the point that I'm making.
It's just performative, just to tick the box and to put it on social media, like Chief talked about. That look, if a senator does not do road and do pipeline water, they will vote him out. I completely agree with you, sir. You are very correct. So the truth of the matter is that the real engagement is not part of our culture. Real engagement of hearing what the people are saying is alien to us culturally.
That also raises another question. My sincere apologies, Dr. Shobande, for butting in. Yes, that raises another question of whether or not you say that the leaders are not educated, politically educated, leadership education. I agree with you. I have considered, and I hope that, you know, maybe Dr. Obani will take it to them, that anyone who wants to be a legislator should go to NIPS. At least go there, sit down for a number of months and all of that. But how about the electorate? 26 years ago, a good number of the people who are in government today were not in government 26 years ago. So what is the level of political education in the system so that people can grow into the leadership over time, as opposed to being alien?
That's our greatest deficit, the lack of political education for the followership, the level of ignorance as to how governance work. I tell my friends in the diaspora, this savior instinct that you think you are better than the average Nigerian politician is not the best. Especially when you lash at politicians, you criticize politicians, you condemn them. I said, let's put you in the office for just 2 weeks and let's see what you do. People don't understand how governance works. So you can't have this superior attitude and criticize politicians, condemn them, without having an understanding of the intricacies involved in governance. It's quite complex.
Very complex.
So
very complex.
That has to happen side by side.
Okay.
But what we typically lack, is, like you pointed out, is the lack of political education. And that's what has left the people unmobilized. They cannot actually articulate their own needs accurately because they don't know the channel, or they don't know the systems or the institution they can leverage to actualize their own demands from those who occupy political office.
All right, well, Mr. Enang, let's look at another 26 years from now. What do you see?
If you ask me, and I have...
I just asked you.
If you ask me and give me a canvas, the first thing I'll do is look at, I'll disrupt the entire structure. What do I mean? You know the days we used to play Ikoso, an inverted triangle. Today, we are inverted, meaning that you have resources are being panned at federal level, state, and then local. What I'll do, next 26, starting now, will be, let's flip that around. Give more resources to local. Whatever local has, give it to federal and maintain state. Why? If you look at development, we cannot develop until we get to our county level. I live in a particular estate. We live in a world where we make laws I can tell Dr. Bani, when you come to my estate, you need to call me.
Yeah.
The estate has agreed that you must call ID for you to get a pass for you to get in. Now, you come into the estate says to you, we don't want any religious activity, and they lock it down. And whilst in that estate, they will levy every person, every household. We need to fix this street.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so we are going to pay XY dues, and there's a governance structure. Elections are held. Now, if you come in as chairman and your board, your exco, whatever we want to call it, you don't fix those things. The next time around, if you want to secure a second term, folks are going to tell you that guy is not going nowhere. Now, if you play that at a micro level, it tells you that if we want to fix our country, let's go local. Because development will start at the grassroots.
Yes.
I know Dr. Bani's house. If he's the chairman that is meant to fix the schools, I'll walk up to his house. Oga, why is this school not working? Because the schools are just a stone throw. The health centers are near. But we keep this ephemeral space where people think there's some center that everything needs to go. If the next 26 will work, we need to turn that inverted triangle upside down.
Okay.
Start with the local government.
Start local.
Dr. Bani,
Supreme
26
Court.
years from now.
Supreme Court decided that the local government administration should be autonomous and that all their monies every month should go to them. Almost a year plus. That particular judgment has not been complied with. As you said, if you really want to get Nigeria working in terms of infrastructure, in terms of security, in terms of everything, get governance at the local government functional. The moment you get government at the local government working, because everyone is you are an inmate, you are a person, you come from a local government, I come from a local government. Mine is equal, no? And I want to hold my local government chairman responsible because the money comes to me and say, this money that I have, what are you doing with it? But the money doesn't get to him. All over the country, and we're all keeping quiet. So how do you want Nigeria to really develop in 26 years why governance at the grassroots level is not functional? It's dead, completely moribund.
Okay.
They come every month to come and collect money and then disappear because they are, the governors will just give them, oh, okay, go and settle salary. Oh, this is for you for your security vote, and that's it. They won't give them what has been given by the federal government to the local government. And the Supreme Court did. Attorney General of the Federation went to court. Supreme Court said up till now they are still talking about opening up an account. Nobody has opened an account in order to transfer those monies. So the moment Nigerians wake up, issue of leadership, the electorate, and say this is a country we want working and we want this thing to work, Nigeria will work. The leaders may not ordinarily, voluntarily want to make Nigeria work, but the electorate can make Nigeria work, and all of us must do that role.
Dr. Bani, this thing you have just said will make the president like a figurehead, the governor like a figurehead. But every Nigerian wants to feel important. So, why do you want to let only the local government be working?
No, I'm not saying that local government should be working, others should not be working. I'm saying give them their money.
Service.
Let them begin to do what they're supposed to do at the local government level. The state also has function, function defined by the constitution. The federal government has a function. Let every tier of government be working.
Actually,
that's what I'm saying.
Because I'm surprised that we're even talking about it, because it has worked before.
Yes.
In the third.
Yes, I agree with you, sir. It did.
Yep.
All right, Dr. Shobande, you have your last words. 26 years from now, Nigeria's democracy, what's in your crystal ball?
Decentralized power.
Same thing.
Reduce decentralized power. Cap financial expenses of those in political office. Make it unattractive financially. All political parties must publish their sources of income and expenses every year, and it must be audited by an international audit firm. We want to know how political parties are being funded. If we know what they are spending money on, and everyone who runs for office must always be audited publicly. Whether you are a local government chairman or you are a governor, you must be audited publicly. There too. Lastly, you must declare your source of income. How did you make your money? And it must be legitimate.
That's right.
That way, we will stop electing crooks and miscreants and looters to government. That's what I want to see in 26 years.
It just reminded me of something that happened recently in Ghana.
That hurt.
That the president of Ghana announced it. And was saying, if you receive a gift,
you declare it.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your conversation this morning with us. Dr. Toye Shobande joined us from California, USA. He's a strategic leadership consultant. We've also had Mr. Idoreng, ID
J.E. Enang, business and strategic thought leader. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
As well as Dr. Monday Ubani, senior advocate of Nigeria. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alero.
Okay.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
When we return, we talk about building Nigeria from ground up. Dr. Adeyemi was saying on TV, I think last week, that look, if you want to see a better Nigeria today, start from, in 30 years, start from today. How are we doing in that regard? That's part of what we're talking about next.
Education. Thank you for staying with us on Sunrise. The House of Representatives has launched an investigation into the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, following shocking reports that some students were made to sit for their West African Senior School Certificate examinations around midnight in some parts of Nigeria. Chairman of the House Committee on Basic Education Bodies, Honorable Oboku Ofoji, described the development as a gross failure of responsibility, stating that the psychological well-being and safety of Nigerian students had been recklessly compromised.
These are tough words.
Well, it is what it is. We have in the studio with us the head of National Office of West African Examinations Council, Mr. Amos Dagut, and he is here to shed more light on exactly what happened. Good morning, Mr. Dagut.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers also.
When you heard that this was happening, how did you feel?
It was unbelievable. I found it difficult to come to terms with what I was hearing. And permit me to, at this point, say that this is most unfortunate. It is regrettable, and I humbly take the responsibility, and I apologize to Nigerians for what their children went through, and to the students also. So
Okay.
it is most unfortunate.
We will assume that WAEC has carried out some investigation of its own. So what were the reasons adduced in these parts of the country where this particular thing happened for it happening at all?
The preliminary investigation we carried out revealed a few things. Mostly it is logistics. We have instance where the vehicle conveying the examination material broke down in the middle of the night, and before help could be secured, it was already daylight. We have another part of the country where because we move our examination materials through various means of transport. In one area where we had to ferry the exam materials, there was a serious challenge with the reluctance of the ferry operators, the boat operators. They were reluctant to move the examination material. Then in one other part of the country, there is something that is related to socio-cultural lifestyle of the community. That is precisely to say that in actual sense, an important community leader passed away, and some rights were being observed in his honor. And so the community and all the communities that will access the exam materials through that community were interrupted. This took a while, up to the point that we had to get some government agencies to come to our aid, and before we could talk to the people that matter to allow conduct of exam in such communities and to allow passage to other communities. So these are some of the problems that were encountered.
How many cities did these kind of disruptions happen?
To the best of my knowledge, I am aware of where it was more prevalent is in 3 states, and it is not in the cities, it's mostly in the rural areas.
But in 3 states, but we understand that it happened in the capital city in Delta, Asaba.
That of
and in
Delta,
Jalingo.
Yes, Jalingo is one of the major areas. That of Delta was when it happened during it was only a one-off case. It was in a school, a particular school. So it is not the whole of the state.
That's Delta.
It was in just one school.
Okay, what happened in Jalingo?
In Jalingo, that was where the logistics happened. And unfortunately, the vehicle broke down in Gombe. And if you are aware of the terrain from Gombe to Jalingo, it's quite far. And so by the time the help came in the morning and the exam materials had to go through other processes before they are released to the exam halls.
Now, you know, when it happened with JAM and there was that uproar, of course, the registrar, the CEO of JAM, took responsibility, and of course, the tide has since faded. But it was after his apology and, you know, the press conference and all, that it also came to light that there was some sabotage, right, that was not part of the consideration of the of the registrar of JAM at the time that the conversation started. So, but in your case, there was no sabotage. Is that what you're saying? Can you confirm?
Well, in our own case, you might not really... well, I don't know if sabotage is the word to use, but let me say that there were attempts really to discredit our organization. There were attempts to actually leak our papers. So that was the onset of the series of activities that led to what played out.
There were what were these attempts? Where and where did those attempts happen?
Let me point out here that for the first time, we have started printing examination materials, and we also have some other commercial printing press where we produce our examination materials. Now, what we are talking about resulted from a commercial printing press where we were told that our examination materials are already circulating. And as a responsible organization that prides itself in having integrity, being fair to all candidates, we did what we know best. That is to ensure that there is no unfairness allowed to play out. So we took the bull by the horn with the sole objective of ensuring that we prevent leakage. We avoid compromise of our examination. Now, I want to say that we were able to do that, but unfortunately, something we did not envisage came out, and these are the things I mentioned: the socio-cultural practice, the logistic problems, and then the uncooperative attitude of agencies that we have used before in conveying examination materials, having to transport them over the water.
Up until now, how much of school certificate question papers were printed in Nigeria?
For a long time now, we have been printing them here in Nigeria, but with the commercial printing press. But of recent, WAEC as a whole has realized the importance to take the destiny into its own hands, such that, like I said, WAEC Nigeria has also done that. As for this examination, over 50% of our examination materials were printed in-house. Other African member countries of WAEC have also acquired their own printing presses, and they have started in this very year. So before now, we are relying on commercial printers. We have started this. In fact, we started just a few weeks to the commencement of the exam. And as we sit here, I can assure you and Nigerians that come 2026, if the opportunity will be there, because government has plans, we are going to print 100% in-house, where we take the destiny into our hands, because we know we are completely 100% conscious of security of our examination materials. So we would not have anything to worry about again.
Now, how much vetting went into selecting the commercial printing presses that you used?
It is quite unfortunate to state here that the commercial printing press that was fingered, because we're still investigating, that was fingered to be responsible, has been printing our exam materials even before I myself joined the council. And that is, I joined the council over 25 years ago. So we have been working with them for this long.
So what went wrong this time?
That is what I said. The attention has been drawn to it, and we are
investigation is still going on.
Yes.
Okay. Quick question about one of the allegations out there, which you must have heard as well, the so-called special centers. Are there special centers indeed? And I'm not talking about the special needs children.
Okay. This is an unfortunate situation where we should be mourning, but unfortunately, you have made me but you are right. It's unfortunate. I want to, first of all, draw our attention to the activities of rogue website operators, people who go out of their way to leak examination questions. It's a multi-million naira illegal business that is going on there, and quite unfortunate and painful to me and to us in the examination sector. The society is not beaming its searchlight into the activities of those people. They are really undermining examinations, not just in WAEC and other examining bodies, but in institutions. And I want to use this medium to call on all well-meaning Nigerians, to you journalists and all others, to put let's all put our hands on the desk and fight this cankerworm examination malpractice. So to go to your question, we don't have any special center. The one we have special center is where we have candidates with special needs. So, but to say that when you sit in exam in this hall, you are going to pass, we don't have. In fact, when any information that reaches us that there is a miracle center, we search cast our beam light on such.
Did you say miracle center?
That is what they tell us. Is that what they are called? Yes, they say there are miracles, that when you go there, you will have your A1s. And so once we receive reports of such, we make sure that if there are, we destabilize it.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm asking you questions that are really probing this morning, but one other thing that came up in the, well, you know, this is exam season.
Yeah.
There's JAM, there's WAEC, there's NECO upcoming and all. Is also this allegation that some of the questions that students have to answer during exams were not covered in school. in the course of learning. Is that correct? Have you heard that before?
I should, maybe it should be of interest to you to know that I was a teacher before I joined the West African Examinations Council. In the school where I taught, we cover our syllabus. And I can assure you that from my experience, all the questions that come are always syllabic, and the syllabus is drawn from the curriculum. So there is no school, to my knowledge, that teaches out of the curriculum, and since our syllabus is drawn from the curriculum, the examination questions are also from the syllabus and by extension the curriculum.
Have you heard it before though?
This can arise only if this particular school hasn't covered the syllabus.
There are many schools that don't cover the syllabus. Okay. And some, out of ignorance, will say the questions are not syllabic. It's not true.
Okay.
Everything is, the syllabus has the extent to which questions could be asked. So also, the curriculum sets out the area of coverage. But unfortunately, some schools, maybe they have unqualified teachers, they don't have enough teachers and facilities, which unfortunately we as a country are not also talking about. These are things that make malpractice thrive. When there are ill-prepared candidates, they are crazy, they go out of their way to do. So when there are insufficient teachers or teachers who are not well-trained, they avoid some topics. And when the questions come from there, the students are baffled. Where is this thing coming from?
Well, another thing, again, I apologize, but there are questions that need to be asked. You must get reports, posts every exam, after every examination, spread from people, from your foot soldiers who conduct these examinations, who supervise, invigilate, and all of that.
Yeah.
We hear from time to time that some parents go to some schools to compel certain things to happen so that their children can pass exams. In fact, we hear that schools also get barraged, so to speak, in that regard. Have you heard of such yourself?
Yes. In fact, as a teacher, I was aware of that because the school authority will overbear on teachers to ensure their students have credits in the subject they teach. And I'm also aware that there are some governments that issue ultimatum to their principals that you deliver or else you don't get government patronage or else you are not favored, and so on and so on. Parents go to schools, they try to induce and threaten the principal. If your students don't do well, we will draw our children. So the pressure is just everywhere.
Okay, can you confirm this fact that WAEC is also going to undertake CBT as opposed to the long handwriting?
Thank you very much. I heave a huge sigh of relief because that holds the key to our problem and to the problem of assessment in this country and worldwide. You see, to start with, if we were doing computer-based examination, it will have just been the touch of a button and there's a replacement and no logistics, no nothing, no barrier to cross. It will have solved our problem. And let me also say this of interest and of gratitude to God on our own part. We started e-assessment, computer-based assessment in WAEC 1 year ago. Although we started with the private candidate examination, but I should also say something that will gladden our hearts, that this ongoing West African Senior School Certificate Examination for School Candidates 2025, some schools are doing the computer mode. Some schools are already writing the examination, not using 100% the pen and paper. So it's something we're already onto, and we look onto it with much expectation because of the promise that lies in it.
So when is that likely to take off fully?
Now, the federal government of Nigeria is coming up with much and serious reforms to ensure that assessment practices align with best practices in the over the globe. Now, after series of engagement, the federal government has directed that all examinations, as far as the 6th-year examination is concerned, will migrate to computer-based assessment beginning from 2026. So all examinations, whether they are West African Senior School Certificate Examination, Senior School Certificate Examination, including the exam conducted by NAPTEP, NECU, WAEC, all will be on computer. Now, for this year, 2026, the federal government has also directed, 2025, has directed that commencing from the private candidate exam, which normally comes up from November to December, all across the examining bodies will be on computer. So it will be computer-based examination. Also, permit me to indicate that yesterday evening we got a memo from the Federal Ministry of Education. The Honorable Minister for Education has directed that WAEC and other examining bodies should, with immediate effect, ensure that we switch invigilators across the schools. For us in WAEC, what we do right now is we switch supervisors. Nobody supervises exam in his or her own school. But the new twist introduced by the federal government is that invigilators should also be swapped. And I want to, permit me use this medium to tell school proprietors and principals to look out for this, because commencing from Monday, we are going to switch invigilators. So invigilators will no more invigilate in their schools. So it will be like an exchange program. We will coordinate that and send the information to schools. All this is with a view to eliminate malpractice, because it has been found that invigilators also serve as courier of examination malpractice.
Okay. Let me just play devil's advocate. These children who wrote their exams at dead of night, we hear that some of them actually used torchlights and candles to write those exams. Suppose when the results come out, some of them complain that their results are poor because of the circumstances under which the exams were written. I mean, are you preparing for that kind of eventuality?
You see, you have also opened up another dark side of our society. If the schools had infrastructure, you know, we will not be talking about these unfortunate incidents. The infrastructure that will also illuminate examination halls. One thing we do know is that examination was not written in the dark, because nobody can look and read questions in the dark, neither can they write. So there was a form of illumination. And I can confirm to you that, yes, I can confirm to you that nobody, we have not received any report of anybody saying they could not do because of poor illumination. And I also want to tell you that...
But we saw videos.
No, I'm saying that, yes, they use torchlights and other means of light.
Okay.
When I was young, there was something I used, and some of my colleagues, we call it in Hausa, kachibalbal, where you just have a bottle with a wick, and then you have oil, it lights. We do our midnight reading and writing with it. So we have not really got anybody to say that because of this, we could not write. I would also want to let you know that we have also asked our staff and supervisors to ask candidates just across. They don't even want to have a receipt. They don't even want to say, okay, we are doing another exam for you to come. They say they are okay with what they have done. So that is where we are now.
Well.
And then for that, well, by the time we mark the scripts, we definitely and always come up with results. And I can assure you, in this very case, we will bring out the result of performance in this year and tally it against the previous years for all of us to see whether there is any mark difference.
Okay. Okay, Head of National Office, West African Examinations Council, Mr. Amos Dangote. Thank you very much for coming to enlighten us on the happenings regarding the West African School Certificate.
I want to use this opportunity to thank you for giving us yet another opportunity to make our explanations. I also want to thank the numerous stakeholders, people who have encouraged us, who have supported us to see that we remain focused. One case worth of mention is one governor in one of the worst affected states. When he heard of our predicament, he sympathized with us. He called us and has empowered us to overcome the obstacle that we have. And I want to assure you, with what he has done and with what other interested stakeholders are doing, this issue that arose last week has been nipped into the bud. So we are grateful, we appreciate our stakeholders.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dangote. We wish you all the best in cleaning up all that is going on right now.
Thank you so much.
Sunrise will return in just a moment. Do stay with us.
Of this conversation, well, we have this next discussion to have on utilizing nuclear tech for development. Nuclear technology plays a multifaceted role in enhancing social development, so contributing to areas like energy, security, health, agriculture, and the rest of them, according to the International Atomic Energy Agency. Now, it helps to address basic human development needs and builds towards a sustainable future. What's this got to do with Nigeria? What are the conversations ongoing? Let's begin the conversation this morning with Mr. Awal Bisala, who is Deputy Director, Head of International Cooperation and Liaison, and the IAEA National Liaison Assistant for Nigeria, Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission, Asokoro, Nigeria. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Mr. Bisala. All right, we also have Dr.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Yes, thank you also. We have Dr. Humphrey Maketeli, who is the coordinator, National Nuclear Security Coordination Center, Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, joins us virtually, along with Abubakar Aliyu, Nuclear Research Officer, Center for Renewable Energy and Sustainability Transitions at Bayero University, Kano State. Both of them join us virtually from Austria. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me. So much.
Yeah. So let's begin with you, Dr. Maketeli. You attended the International Atomic Energy Agency's international conference in Vienna, Austria. Tell us about it. What does Nigeria stand to gain from that?
Okay. The conference that took place this week was on stakeholder engagement. It's basically a way to reach out to all stakeholders in the sector, more on the side of the host communities, the public, and every other person that is needed to discuss with, how to get them to understand what the nuclear industry can provide for them and to dispel the bad image of nuclear technology in our society.
Okay. Let me ask Mr. Bisala. We understand that IAEA plays a vital role in promoting peaceful uses of nuclear technology and all of that. In your opinion, is Nigeria keying into any of these opportunities for the benefit of the country?
Thank you very much again for this opportunity to share our thoughts and ideas coming from the Nigerian Atomic Energy Commission, which is the prime institution in technology in the country. Yes, as answer to your question, Nigeria has been keen in and has actually been benefiting from the peaceful uses of nuclear science and technology in different areas of socio-economic development, particularly in the area of health, in the area of agriculture, environment, water resources. Even though, yes, for nuclear power, it's an ongoing planning activity, but essentially, yes, we've been benefiting, particularly within the framework of the partnership we have with the International Atomic Energy Agency.
The use of technology is being incorporated into almost every aspect of our lives now. Energy, security, food. So how can nuclear tech improve food production, as it is that now we're looking at how to feed ourselves? That seems to be on the front burner for Nigeria right now.
Thank you very much for that question, which is directly related to the application of nuclear in the area of agriculture, particularly towards the attainment of the goal of food security within the country and even across the globe. Nuclear plays a very pivotal role and critical role in the field of agriculture, particularly through different climate-smart agricultural practices that have been introduced using nuclear techniques, which have tended to support the utilization of disease-resistant seeds, utilizing drought-resistant seeds to ensure bumper harvest. And then, of course, we have the use of irradiation technology, which is nuclear-based, to increase the shelf life of agro-produce, particularly perishable agro-produce like onions, like tomatoes, like yams, and a lot of them. So we have this irradiation method that applies nuclear techniques to extend the shelf life and then slow down the inhibit sprouting of some of these agro-produce I mentioned, which allows for longer storage period, even off-season storage, and ensure availability long after the seasons of some of these agro-produce. So that's one key area where we have nuclear techniques applied to support food security, particularly in Nigeria.
Mr. Liu, access to constant electricity is a major concern for most Nigerians. Can the use of nuclear power help Nigeria to end this epileptic power supply which we have, and also contribute to local economic development?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, currently at the moment, nuclear energy accounts for 10% of the global electricity production. To put that into perspective, we have about 410 reactors operating globally in more than 30 countries, include the likes of UAE, and which are also oil-producing country. So Nigeria stands a chance also to use this technology in order to produce electricity, which is basically a baseload technology, electricity that will be channeled into industries and what have you. And another thing is the nuclear technology has a new form of technology in the form of SMRs, which could be used in remote places that are not connected to the grid, but also industries can also tap into that kind of technology in order to do so many things. For example, steel industries, mining industries, and the likes. So Nigeria really stands a chance to use this opportunity. And also, we already have the Nigerian Atomic Energy in place, which can oversee this process and see that Nigeria utilizes this opportunity.
All right. Let me come back to Dr. Maketeli. Please give us an insight into some of the resolutions that the that the conference made and how they directly or indirectly benefit Nigeria?
Okay. Basically, it is a conference for stakeholders. It is not, it doesn't make resolutions. It's this year's conference centered on the mayors of different countries and stakeholders like Canada, different countries that host nuclear power or nuclear facilities, bringing in their government officials, bringing in the politicians, and to discuss with them, and also bringing in journalists and other members of the public to understand the roles and how we can disperse the negative news that comes from nuclear technology. We in the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, actually, we were about 6 of us that presented papers there, giving the Nigerian perspective from Nigeria. Although we don't have a nuclear power, but we've successfully regulated nuclear facilities in Nigeria for over 20 years. Like WAEC will tell you, they have a research reactor that is in Zaria, and there has not been any incidents so far in the past 20 years we're regulating that facility. The same way there's a gamma irradiation facility in Abuja, which we have successfully regulated from the beginning of its licensing process down to today where it is, without any incidents taking place or any accidents that will affect life or property. The Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority is basically regulatory. We oversee anything that has to do with ionizing radiation in the country. At the moment, we oversee 8 sectors of the Nigerian economy, which from petroleum, agriculture, mining, manufacturing, science, research and development, water resources, and security scanning. On a day-to-day, nobody will say he has not met nuclear technology in Nigeria. Every day you come into the space, you meet nuclear technology, and it's been used so far in Nigeria and well regulated by the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Authority, where I work.
Well, Mr. Bisala, the question a number of people would also be asking is, because many people are hearing now that Nigeria has been benefiting from nuclear energy in the area of health, agriculture, and all of that, but I'm sure some people are hearing this for the first time. Perhaps it also speaks to whether or not there is enough enlightenment for Nigerians about what this whole thing has got to do with them, because yes, while he was campaigning, Mr. President was saying that he also wanted to compete in the area of nuclear energy and all of that. But to the Nigerian, how about some more enlightenment so that at least they know, the Nigerians also know that this is what we have and we can benefit quite some from?
Thank you very much. And that's why I'm particularly happy that Channels actually invited us to share our ideas and thoughts. For me, this is another form of enlightenment, awareness, advocacy, because the media has actually a very significant role to play, and I can see that being played by Channels by bringing some of us to discuss and share ideas about what we do and what is actually going on within the nuclear space in the country. So yes, we've been doing tremendous advocacy, particularly around our plan to have a nuclear power plant. Different centers of the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission that are involved in different activities in the area of agriculture, as I've said earlier, health and nuclear security and other related fields are doing their own different advocacies, awareness campaigns, particularly around the country to ensure that people are aware of what nuclear is and actually what nuclear is not. So that, because Nuclear as a technology is one very huge misunderstood technology, if you will agree with me. But again, with the pace of development that is currently ongoing and stakeholder engagement that we are also doing nationally, where we invite relevant government institutions for discussions so that they know exactly what we are doing and then how they can key in. Yes, we are doing quite a lot, but a lot that we are doing is still not enough, as you rightly noted. We need to step up and ensure that the information about nuclear and what nuclear can do, particularly in all those sectors I mentioned earlier, is actually spread around so that people will not just see nuclear from the perspective of nuclear weapons and the negative consequences of use of nuclear weapons. Thank you.
Which leads to this next question for you, Mr. Bisala. I'll come back to Mr. Ali in a bit. What steps should we be taking as a nation to ensure safe and secure use of nuclear power, particularly with guidelines from the IAEA?
Yes, I think the key issue really is about the outlook of nuclear power development, which is international in nature. And what do I mean by international in nature? You need to partner with well and tested vendors. You need to partner with well-established countries that have taught this line of planning and implementation of nuclear power programs in their countries. So you need global partnership so that you tow the path of those that have already have nuclear power plants in their country. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, so to say. You don't need to make the mistakes that have been made. So if you have a time-tested partners, which of course Nigeria has in different countries, we have a very strong partnership with the Russian Federation, which is a world-renowned nuclear power plant provider. We have with China, we have with the US, we have with several other countries that are well tested in terms of nuclear power development within their countries and across the globe. So the key thing is really to have that strong partnership with countries, vendors that are well established. That's one part. Second part is to ensure that the framework of your relationship with the IAEA under the Tenka Corporation is also important and very strong, because IAEA supports countries with different approaches and procedures to ensure that you get it right. And that is why the planning for nuclear takes time and years. And we've been working with the IAEA within the context of what we call milestone approach, where there are laid down 19 infrastructure issues that you need to identify and address each step of the way. And some of these issues are regulatory frameworks, legal frameworks, financing models that you're going to use, issues of safety, issues of security, different elements of activities that will ensure safety. You need to walk through these activities with the IAEA. So we are working with the IAEA within the framework of our nuclear power program development. Okay. And I believe that the elements of activities we have done so far have actually helped Nigeria in terms of strengthening its path towards the deployment of nuclear power plant. Already, I'm sure you are aware, we have identified 2 sites where we think we can have our first nuclear power plants there. And IAEA is helping us in terms of site characterization, in terms of feasibility study, environmental and social impact assessment. These are activities that are ongoing, and we're doing them with international support, which, as I've said, is very vital and important for safe and secure deployment of nuclear power plant.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, Mr. Aliyu, this one is for you. With every initiative come its challenges and all of that. So, for you, from what you know as a nuclear research officer, what are the potential challenges that Nigeria might face in adopting nuclear power, in your opinion, and how can those challenges be addressed? Mr. Aliu.
Yeah, I think basically one of the most challenge I think we can face is public acceptance. Usually when issues like this come up, especially with the percent of deployment of nuclear power technology, the community tends to be misinformed by several information around by different probably environmentalists and what have you. But then how we can curb that is through raising awareness, in the sense that we talk to these communities, we engage them, we make them understand how this technology works, how it is being regulated by the Nuclear Regulatory Authority, and how it is being put into scrutiny by the International Atomic Energy Agency. By this, we can be able to address the issue of public acceptance. Another thing is probably cost. At the beginning, nuclear technology is quite costly, but then over time, you tend to realize that it's worth the cost and what have you. So how to, I think, of that is probably a key into the public-private partnership. Yeah, we have a lot of private owners in the country and abroad that are also interested in some of these technologies. By talking to them and making them understand how this technology is going to provide so many benefits to the country, I believe they should be able to key into this area by investing. Another issue that we also discussed in this summit is human capital. As a newcomer country, it's not expected that we have the human capacity to do all these things. So how we should be able to cope this challenge is also by liaising with partners in order to train our people to be able to understand how these technologies work. And also another thing is we should be able to create an environment where we can harness people from other professions, for example, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, so that they can have a kind of bridge course in order to understand how the nuclear power dynamics work, so we can just inculcate them. So another thing is we should be able to market this technology to the younger ones coming up right from the high school, early university, so that we should be able to have also this interest in young people to be able to also want to key into these areas, for example, nuclear engineering, nuclear physics, and what have you. So I think these are some of the major challenges we face, and following what I said, I'm sure we should be able to overcome these challenges.
Well, perhaps when people begin to see the benefits, the great benefits and opportunities that come with it, it will be easier. And I like the word you used, market. So Nigeria has to market it to Nigerians. So the only thing we hear about nuclear weapons, about nuclear energy, is not nuclear weapons. Yeah.
Actually, talking about weapons,
no, we'll talk about that. We don't even want to talk. I would rather just look at the benefits right now. Please, let's not.
Thank you.
Let's look. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here this morning to put us through all of this. We've listened to Abubakar Aliyu, who is a nuclear research officer, Center for Renewable Energy and Sustainability Transitions, CREST, at Bayero University, Kano State. We've also listened to Dr. Humphrey Maketeli, who is coordinator, National Nuclear Security Coordination Center at the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Agency. He joined us, both of them joined us from Austria. We've also had in our Abuja studio, Mr. Awal Bisala, who is Deputy Director, Head of International Cooperation and Liaison, as well as IAEA National Liaison Assistant for Nigeria at the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission, Asokoro. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for educating us this morning and letting us know that nuclear energy is way more than nuclear weapons.
Thank you.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hope you'll have us again someday.
Yeah, certainly. So when we return, you heard Mr. Aliyu talking about marketing this to children. But how about marketing it to the parents first? That, among other things, we'll talk about when we return on Lifestyle.
Welcome to the lifestyle segment. Modern parenting is characterized by a shift towards open communication, emotional connection, and understanding the child's individual needs and perspectives. It involves a more flexible approach to discipline and expectations, encouraging children's autonomy and independence. Yeah, right.
I was waiting for that.
Well, we have people here who are going to talk to us more about this, because I wouldn't say that we turned out too bad and we were seen and not heard. Dr. Temitayo Ishola, Head Pediatric Department at Butemeta General Hospital, is here with us. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Ma. Good morning.
As well as our old friend, parenting coach and child teens counselor, Kingsley Obom Ebulem. Good morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
What is RIS?
What is RIS?
Even you don't know. Civil War. One of the things that excites me about this...
What is RIS?
I don't know. Am I Gen Alpha?
No, you were saying it as if you knew the meaning, that maybe your children had used it.
They will tell you, Google will tell you the meaning of RIS.
Anyway, Kingsley, like I said in the intro, we didn't turn out too bad, did we?
No, we didn't.
And we were seen and not heard. Nobody asked us for, in fact, your opinion you kept to yourself. You respect yourself well, and just swallow it.
Yeah.
Nobody asked your opinion about anything. In fact, I mean, they wanted to travel. They didn't even tell you. You just woke up the next morning and daddy wasn't there, and then your mom would tell, he traveled last night. But now we have to seek their opinion. Yeah. They count. We have to chat with them, sometimes negotiate what we want done.
What has changed, right?
But where is all that getting us?
Well, it's not about where it's getting us to. It's actually, first of all, understanding what has really changed. What has changed?
What has changed?
It would be vague to just say the dispensation is different. But I think technology has played a major role in shaping what you're seeing now. You know, then, if you ask your mother, where do babies come? Whatever she tells you, you accept it.
Yeah.
But today, the child will be telling you where babies come.
Oversabi?
Yeah, and it's not really oversabi. It's because access to information has been democratized. There's this proliferation of information that is... We've been inundated with so much.
Yeah.
So if you have a child who is inquisitive, well, most kids are. If you have a child who is expressing that, you know, that tendency to want to know, which every child has, because one of the things that makes you a child is the ability to ask questions without having a preconceived notion. You know, you just want to know for the sake of knowing. And it is a right. So if a child has access to information, whether it's on the internet, whether it's on TV, cable, books, and then the socialization that goes on, the peer-to-peer interactions. If your child is schooling far away, wherever the child is schooling, the child has access to a lot of cultural, contextual information that they can use to engage you. And so if you're not prepared for the challenges of the 21st century parenting, which happens to be, one, developing capacity as a parent, exposing yourself as a parent, trying to read, study, and know. I just fall our hand a short while ago.
So what's it?
That is what it is. Today...
RIZ is spelled R-I-Z-Z?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a newer term, you know.
There's a lot.
Short for charisma.
There's a lot.
RIZ, charisma.
Tomorrow there's no this one will, you've heard of demure and all, you know. Tomorrow this RIZ will expire.
What is demure?
Hey, Jesus.
Angelero, why are you looking for trouble?
To be honest, she's asking a valid question that is important to this conversation, madam.
Yes.
For instance, when you hear no cap, You have not. Mom is wondering.
Yeah, no capping. I'm not.
Put the cap.
I'm not fooling you. I'm not.
It's not a lie.
I'm not lying. I'm not deceiving you.
That is
no capping.
No cap.
No capping.
No capping.
Yeah, no cap. Whatever.
So parents get lost.
Anyway, you work with them, so you understand. To some extent, you understand their language.
Land on what you're asking.
Yes.
We need to live with the consciousness that things have changed. And like they say, if the music has changed,
dance step
must change.
No, that's not the only thing that changes. The taste of the palm wine has changed. The drinking style.
The drinking style
also has to change.
Yeah.
Madam, parents get lost when two young people are talking. Two teenagers are talking. And they are dropping quotes. And mom and dad are lost. In fact, you will literally check their WhatsApp. You want to follow the conversation.
And you cannot.
And you will be seeing Greek and Latin in English. So, we are laughing already. So, how do parents navigate that?
I think we need to get ourselves into
their school,
their life.
How?
By interacting more. Communication more.
Are they going to willingly teach you their lingo? Because they want to, when they're with their friends and their peers, they want to talk above your head. They don't want you to understand.
They don't want
anyway.
you to understand, yes.
So
who's
going to teach you?
They will teach. Personally, from experience, what I do is, once I have opportunity, I usually create opportunity for us to interact. And when we interact, they talk, they say some things, and they're like, oh, mommy is not supposed to know. And I dig further. What, I might not be immediate. What does that mean? It might be later, I'll call, oh, while you were talking, you said something. I would like to know more about it. Oh, mommy, it's not important. No, it is. I'd like to know. So we need to be part of them. And it starts from when they are young. It starts from when they're 0 years old. Because by the time we know them from the start, it will be easy to grow with them and to identify with them. But if we wait until they are teenagers, it will become difficult.
To be too late, yeah.
So it starts from 0 years. It starts from that period of scouting, that period of trying to know who I am. So by the time they know that you are there and you are willing to learn, you are willing to be with them, you are willing to speak their language, then it becomes easier.
Madam, I'll stick with you for a bit. I saw a video, and I think I've seen it twice or two or three platforms, and I'm sure this man must have seen it as well. A professor gets into a class of Gen Zs, young people, and he was to deliver a lecture. And he decided he was going to use their language. You saw the video. He was going to use their language. He was going to use their language, and he delivered the lecture in their language. They were laughing hysterically.
There's several versions of that.
They were laughing hysterically. What you are speaking to, of course, naturally, they're going to fall in love with that guy. What you are speaking to has two sides to it.
Okay.
On the one hand, they probably like the fact that, okay, we would love, I can relate with this person because we speak the same language. On the other hand is they want to keep some secrets that they don't want you to know, so that they can maintain their anonymity, so to speak. So where is the balance here? Because what you are speaking to is for parents to build trust.
Exactly.
Parents themselves are busy. And the children, they want to maintain some level of independence.
Though it's a tough one, but like I used to say, when I see my parents, when I see parents of my children, you have to be intentional. It starts from the beginning, like I said. I want to be part of you. It is intentional. Even though I am busy, I'm a busy mommy, but I still create time to make sure that I get, even if it's a little of what is going on in their life. They come back from school, and I always ask, before the end of the day, what did you do in school today? What went wrong? Is there, and because they know that I will listen. I might not give the answer at that time. I might say, okay, please, I'm tired now, but I will think about it and respond. But they know that once I come back, I must ask them what went wrong in school today. So they're always willing, even if I forget to ask. Oh, mommy, I did this. Oh, it's our school food, this teacher did. So they are aware. So we have to create that awareness from the start, build that trust from the start, and it makes it easy. Though it is not 100% that all children would fall into that, because they're different, and it has to be different approach.
You know, Mr. Bomegulem, it's easier said
than done.
Can I amplify that?
You will expand on it, but some parents are not ready to accept that times have changed. Just as Alero said.
That's a tragedy on its own. Yeah, that's a tragedy, because your refusal to accept it doesn't change much. It is just what it is. It's just like saying, I'm a male, and she's a female, and we're debating it. We'll debate. It doesn't change anything.
Till the end of time.
Let
me give you a scenario. When my boys were younger, in their teens, a Valentine's Day came along, and we were all sitting in my bedroom chatting, and they were telling me which girl they gave a flower to and which girl they gave a chocolate
lucky you.
And suddenly, the older one it was like he just woke up. What a weird family. We're telling our mother about our Valentine escapades. What kind of family is this? You are all sick. And I said, no, we're not sick. We're friends. Please continue. I'm listening.
Okay.
I mean, when we were young, number one, what is Valentine?
In fact, you
want to go and sit down with your mother and be telling her that you gave some girl a rose. Are you drunk, or have you been sniffing something?
Must have been.
But starting from your point, there's a reflection of relationship, which is what this whole parenting thing is all about. Children are constantly looking for somebody they want to connect with. So if that person is my mother and my father, then I'm safe. So I'll rather connect with you here and pour out what I need to pour out than do that outside. But where I can't connect with you, then I go out. That's one. Two, they try to test your ability to handle little information. If you can handle the little one, then we graduate to telling you another level. For instance, if father was saying, she has not discussed her boyfriend with me. I said, boyfriend? Okay, that's PhD. You've not done O levels.
You want to?
Do you know her birthday? Well, do you know her maths English teacher? Do you even know her school? Have you visited to just surprise her? You want to know her boyfriend? Okay, you will never know it. Because you failed in the elementary. So, and then she may have dropped something to you without you knowing. And you know, children, they do this. They just say, hey, mommy, it's one of my friends. Hey, her mother saw her boyfriend's note in her school bag. Her mother saw what?
That's it. You never hear.
You close that door.
You will never hear it.
That Fort Knox.
And it might be true. It might be
maybe just
untrue.
Yeah.
She might just be flying a kite. That's it. And you failed. You will never, ever.
Yes.
As far as that area is concerned,
case closed.
And you're wondering, is this girl still? Is this boy? Is this? No. That one don't pass. So how do you get into that? Their community friendship by showing, Ayo said, mention trust. That's one, trust. Then ability to empathize with them. I know what you're going through. I was once a teenager. In fact, I had several boys chasing me. Hey, mommy, really? See that, make I tell you something. Mommy, tell me. She too, she's in that position. Boys are running after her. And now, there's nothing wrong with me. It happened to mommy also. And so, mommy, what did you do? Well, I took them to my father. I said, if you want to follow me, come on, meet my father. Ah! Mommy, I cannot bring them to daddy. So they start to download the things you cannot pick on the road because you became vulnerable, which is another level. You need to prove that you are vulnerable enough. And you're not that Virgin Mary, Auntie Alera, who just
mistakes.
fell from the sky.
Yes.
And the father kept her, and she got married. If that is who you are, I'm sorry. Mommy, I'm not Virgin Mary. I'm not. I like to dance. I like to play. I like to scream. So if you understand, which is the next level, if you understand your child, the peculiarity of this child, there are children who are easy to parent. You don't stress it. You can say, sit down here, and you come and meet them there. And there are some, when you say, I want you to wait here, I'm coming in 2 hours, you will meet them at the door. So know the child you have.
Drive your car out.
So know the child that God has blessed you with. Know the design of this child, and know that it was not a mistake.
But you know, this issue of knowing, it's just as you said, you also spoke to it, intentionality.
Yeah.
The parents are busy.
No,
wait. There's someone wait first.
Okay.
The parents, someone is watching you right now.
Yeah.
Has to take 3 trips in a week to sustain whatever it is, and they will say, I'm doing it for the children. I saw a series on Netflix just in the course of the week.
Especially the dads.
Yeah. Even the moms. This She the People was a Tyler Perry series, a short series, limited series. And said, you know, she rose to become deputy governor of the state of Mississippi. And she said she was doing it so that she can have create a better life or for the children. And she rose to as high as she rose, and rose and all of that. There are many parents like that going through that kind of thing today.
So should we speak to them? Should we speak to them?
Go ahead.
Good. I'm going to speak from, should I say, in retrospect now. So I'm going to share with you that all the parents who did that, they came back and the children are no longer there. So the one you went to look for money for,
not there.
You now have the money, but you can't find the child. And this is what I used to say. I would rather solve a problem. I'd rather prevent a problem that money cannot solve. In parenting, do you understand? What am I trying to say? You know, she knows better what I'm going to talk about. The formative years, the early years. Ayo, it is 0 to 10.
Exactly.
0 to 10, my brother. If you miss that period,
you have missed the child.
It's over. And I'm not capping. 0 to 10. Some of us that God rescued, it was because 0 to 10, there was somebody around in charge. We missed our way and we came back. It was because there was no significant damage between 0 to 10. You know, when they say train up a child in the way that you get, if you miss that period, the child will go and he will not come back. You know, so if you're going to look for money, if you're listening to us and you're looking for money, if you miss that 10 years while you're looking for money, by the time you come back, you'll meet a stranger at home.
Doctor,
yes,
we talk about the child and his or her emotions and responsiveness. Sometimes when I think about all these things, all these words being used now, it's like saying that when we were growing up, we had no emotions. I mean, how is it that these things have become more important and the issue of mental health has taken the front burner, especially when you're dealing with children?
The most important thing is digital awareness. They see these things they are aware of these things. It's everywhere. And they tend to copy what they see, especially when we are not there as parents. So a child comes in and he or she has broken down, and they brought the child in, and you're assessing. And it's telling you, even though it's my mom or dad that brought me here, whatever I'm going to discuss with you, they must not know about it. And you have to explain, how is that possible? Because they'll be the one responsible for the bills, they'll be the one responsible for the treatment. But the child will still insist, I don't want my parents to know. I'm telling you this because you're my doctor. So it is usually a very dicey thing. But expressing emotions, as at the time we were growing up, there were emotions. But the environment was not conducive for us to express that emotion. They beat you and they tell you must not cry. But now, you beat a child, the child cries, you have to call the child.
No, while you're talking, the child is crying.
It's not even beating. So you have to explain to the child why you have beaten or why you are talking. Else the child is withdrawn. And for days, you are looking at a child that is not with you.
In fact, beating seems to be out of vogue these days.
So even talking, words alone can make a child break down emotionally, and you'll be thinking of, oh, my mental health has been affected. Yes, my mental health is affected. I cannot go on with this.
I saw a video of about a 30-second video. A little girl who this father scolded her, and she was all teary and everything. Scolded her once, and she was teary-eyed. And then I said the mom has scolded her for like 110 million times. She was just dancing.
I'm used to it. It doesn't matter.
So there's something Kingsley said I would like you to speak to. Some parents have lost the first 10 years, even the first 20. And she said that, why are you shaking your leg?
That's dangerous.
And he said that, you know, there are some of them that were rescued is because, you know, they found mercy, sort of.
They've not gone too far.
They hadn't gone too far. They hadn't been too, you know, damaged. What can those parents do now? Any hope of a tiny bit of restoration, of comeback?
Psychological awareness, evaluation. Get a psychologist. It's not because they have mental issue. Get a psychologist to evaluate that child, and then maybe therapy. And the parents will now be intentional about being close, but it might not be an immediate.
It cannot be immediate. It took 20 years.
And so it's going to be another. But by the time the healing or the process will be complete, the so-called child will have a family. And yes, the damage has already been
gone completely.
Gone. And it's the same mentality, if not able to be changed, is what the child would carry to his own family. So that lineage is going to be affected.
Oh dear.
I think there's also the place of stock taking. You need to, I call it personal parental auditing. What do you do when you audit? You want to know, where have we gone wrong? And now as a parent, you've come to the consciousness of, hey, I've missed it. So where did I miss it? And then the child involved, you sit down with that child and say, look, have I been the best of father? Have I been the father you've always wanted? Am I the dad you would have wished for if you want to do this all over again? So where do you think I missed it, and what do you think I can do now that we've lost 10, 20 years? You know, in the course of trying to mediate between, you know, parents and children who have had this fragmented relationship, these are the things you do. Yes, we've been hurt. I've not been there. I was posted from, I was serving in the army, I was moving up and down, and you were with your mothers, and here I am. I've had a wife and some children there, but I'm back home now. A lot of water has passed under the bridge, but I can't afford to lose you guys. So it's a time to be first vulnerable, accountable, and then do stock taking, and find out from the person that you need to reconnect with, how can you help me reconnect with you? How can you help me build back better?
Well, madam, one of the worst things is that these children will also watch foreign movies. They hear something, they hear the child in the movie telling the mom or telling the dad, I hate you.
Yes.
And I suspect that some of them are already using that language.
If not verbally, but in their mind, I'm telling you. You know, anyway, there's a boy. I was sharing with the parents in church one day, the boy whose mom, he said the reason he hates the mom was you can never win an argument with the mom. Whether the mom is wrong, she will say, my friend, shut up. I'm your mother. You cannot be wiser than me. So you know how the boy gets
That's us growing up.
So he puts the mom's picture on his wall. So whenever he argues with the mom, and the mom is wrong, and the mom refuses to accept, he goes into his room, bring out a cane, and flog the picture. He said, I will flog the picture. I said, so what are you to say? I'm flogging my mom.
Wow.
I said, so what is the picture looking like? I said, sir, the picture is torn, but I will continue to flog it. And when I'm done flogging it,
you now feel satisfied.
What? I said, is your mother aware of this? He said, no. I said,
It leads me to another question. We are running out of time, I know, but madam, this one is for you. It leads me to the question, because you could actually be in the same house, and I'm not sure how many parents know this. You could actually be in the same house with your child, and you have no idea who that person is.
Exactly.
And it is not because the child wants to be like that or wants to pretend, because the child has grown a kind of a facade to hide the real them from you, to the point that even the child is lost to himself or herself.
That is the truth. Is the truth, especially when they have access to their room. And of course, you can't have access to the room, privacy, unless you knock. And when you knock, they quickly put themselves in order before you go in. And even when they are not in the room, they have so much package, whatever it is that needs to be hidden, that even if you ransack that room from now to tomorrow, you might not get anything. So that's why it has to start from that formative year, that's 0 to 10 years, so that at least you might not know 100%, but you have an idea of about 50 to 60%, and that would help in parenting.
Is there any peculiarity between a male child and a female child in this case?
Yes. Yes.
Very,
very wide gap.
Wide gap.
Yes.
But you know, you have a son, you have girls, you have.
How am I supposed to know?
I went for a seminar about that 2 days ago. And one of the presenters was like, I have two children, a boy and a girl, and I have trained them the same way. The girl has adapted to the training, but the boy does not even want to have anything to do with what the mother is saying. The mother says A and he says Z. And it has been the same way of training. So boys are totally different. Totally. And it is another...
And it's frustrating trying to expect your son to behave like your daughter. It can't happen. So what you need to do, you can spread the values, but the peculiarity, the expression of those values vary. For instance, my girls, if you buy them 10 books, they can read the books in 2 weeks. But when you give him 1 book, you'll be trusting God. But he has his strength. So I can't pressure him because he doesn't read like his sisters. No, that would be wrong of me. But you see, there are things he does that those girls cannot figure out.
Yeah.
So these are just the elementary. If you go deeper, you find out that even the boy, his role models, and the girls, it varies. So if a girl has, let me assume you have your daughter says, Michelle Obama is my role model. You think Michelle Obama will be your son's role model? It can never happen.
Never. Yes.
So those are peculiarities. You get it?
Especially now that they prefer Korean films for
that's another ballgame. But there's something I want us to run away with, which is the fact that She mentioned intentionality, but you need to be less judgmental. In fact, non-judgmental.
Non-judgmental.
If your children can vouch for you as a non-judgmental parent, no matter how much you're troubled about what they're telling you, just pretend as if
It's okay.
okay.
Hold it.
Okay.
Soak it in.
So you mean you kissed the boy, eh? Oh, wow. How was the kiss? But in your mind, say, fire! Where are you? Calm down now. Just they manage the thing, they go. Let's say, Mommy, so he now touched me. I said, okay.
He touched you where?
See, Grandma.
You understand that? Not that. So he touched you, and he did what? But Mommy,
He touched you.
I'm not talking again.
And that's it.
So if you can flow and then give your counsel, you will hear more.
Yeah.
You will hear more. And then you start to, the language thing, you know, it's about you're relating with a German who doesn't speak English. You don't speak English. So how do you communicate with the German? You need to go and learn German.
The language.
So you learn words like slay,
Yes.
no cap, bets, not bets,
What about the abbreviations?
drip,
The abbreviations.
Yes.
Those ones are totally.
FYP,
Yes.
AFK.
LKWMD.
You know, we could spend the whole
Then
day
they dance.
talking about this.
You should be able to at least dance some of the
we have
latest
run
I
dance.
have to be able to move my leg.
We have run completely out of time. I think we need to revisit this topic at some point because, I mean, we have by no means exhausted because I'm sure that parents who are watching now are learning and there's more that they would like to learn about how to deal with their children. Thank you very much for coming, Kingsley Obomebulem, child and stroke teens counselor and parenting coach, as well as Dr. Temitayo Oshola, head pediatric department at Butimeta General Hospital.
Thank you for
very
having
much
me.
Thank you for
coming
inviting
to
us.
start this conversation with us this morning.
Start.
Yes, sir.
Sunrise will return in just a moment with the home stretch. Do remain with us.
The guy says, look the people, die, die, I will die. And people say, who is this? He says, part of the boys we raided. You raided him.
Okay.
So, all right. How do you this other one?
You will hear more of that story on YouTube, but for now, please welcome with us Happiness Ikechukwu, popularly known as H-Prince. He is a renowned Nigerian comedian, actor, event host, and seasoned writer. Thank you for being here this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here again.
Why are you looking at me as if you are observing me? You want to make me a guest? You want to make me a comedy too?
You know I cannot do that now. You know I cannot do that. My power not do that.
They say you are renowned for observational comedy. What does that mean?
Observational, so that should, okay. So observational comedy is the easiest type of comedy.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, when you are telling a story about things that are happening around you, very relatable stuff. That's observational comedy. If I come in here and I say, this is your native, you know.
You be like Witty. You want to say you be like Witty?
No,
be like Tinubu.
No, I beg, please, I'm too young for this trap. Please, I am too young for this trap, please. Mr. President, I respect you. He's the one that said, I did not say anything, sir, please. You know, so if I come and I start making jokes about things that are around here, you know, things that people can easily relate with, that's observational comedy. Yeah, so I do that a lot.
Okay, for those who don't know you, what inspired you to pursue this comedy? Because Alera would also always ask, what did you study?
By the way, and you are looking very good. I like the Ankara.
Thank you.
Yeah, said I was going to compliment.
Thank you.
Nobody say you're not looking good, though, but of course. If I compliment you now, you said you go, they look sad.
So, observational comedy, I understand. So, what led you into comedy?
Yeah, purpose. I found purpose very early in my life.
What did you study?
Business administration. So that part is. Oh God, I don't know why I'm doing this. Okay, so now.
So you got the certificate and gave it to your mother?
No. So entertainment is business too. Everything we do in life has a business side, basically.
Okay.
So, I mean, I wanted to do arts. I wanted to do theater arts and stuff. But, you know, my parents were like, this thing is already inside of you. Do something that you can easily, you know, always fall back on, and that would make you more marketable in whatever talent or gift you have, right? And I was also good with economics too. At the time, but I wanted to do the arts. So I took up the course, I did it. So now, in a way, it's working for me because I don't operate as a talent, I operate as a business. So H-Prince is not just a talent, it's a business. I used all those skills that I learned in school and infused it in the entertainment or the comedy thing that I'm doing. So, I mean, so it's not wasted, it's not a waste.
Where did the name H-Prince come from?
My first name is Happiness. Okay. Yeah, so the name came from, so I was a rapper. I thought it was music. I thought it was going to be music. So the H-Prince was for my music career, basically. All right. So it was one guy in my company. I said, "Baba, find name for me. Now everybody they bear this thing. This one I mind. This one everything." But H-Prince, Happiness, I be H-Prince. I seen talk the thing. I said, this one may enter.
Where did the prince come from?
You know, I don't know how the guy was seeing me then. That's the thing. I don't know how, because where that prince, because this happened in face me at basic compound. He was my neighbor, the next thing. You know, this compound, when you want to barb, you will kill you. Have to come, Baba. If you want barb, quick come out of bed. I don't set my, those kind of compound. And he was calling me prince. I think the guy had foresight, but even till now, I never taken him. Even royalty, nothing, my brother.
So when you decided eventually then say to your parents, it's comedy for me.
Yeah. My mom was very supportive. I don't relate when people say their parents do not support them in, you know, when they want to now, you know, venture into entertainment. I used to hear, I can't relate because from the onset, my mom just knew that there was something special about me, right? Like anywhere I walk into, there's always happy, right? So when I started doing it in church, it was church, you know, and the first day I performed in church, they sprayed me money. And she said, since you have been doing music, since you have been doing music, has anybody sprayed you? What else do you need? What other sign are you waiting for? For God.
This is it.
This is it. Push it, face it, and you know, even while I was on campus, and you know, I just used that time to build and refine my skills and stuff.
I'm gonna guess that Daddy didn't agree, have you?
Daddy didn't have a choice because at the time, Daddy was outside the country, he was in Europe. But before Daddy left, he was a comedian too in Delta State.
Oh.
So he runs in the family. But I'm a more successful one. I hope you watch me now. And they don't show up for TV during time.
This now they can't pick him away. When you reach house, you go first beat up.
And they inspire him. Yes, now.
They're not they watch out for TV.
To say he reach this level for during time, go travel. You don't go travel now. If you travel there now, I thought you're going to do. So now he's happy that, man, you know, when he comes for my shows, he sits in front and he's paying. Sometimes he even works some of my materials with me because he's still doing body. Once I observe one or two things. How you see this joke, work on it. Because he has that funny bone. His sense of humor is, that's funny.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
So how has the business of comedy been for you?
I want to thank God, number one, for the gift, because I don't know what I've been doing in my life now. And two, I want to thank the pioneers, the Alibabas, the Julius Agus that, you know, reformed this industry and gave it that professional outlook. Because many of us, we don't know where our certificate is, you know. The business we thank God, it's been great, you know. There's nothing like people paying you for something you would have even done for free anyways. Mm. So, I mean, yes, it's been good.
Okay. You're also into acting?
Yes, by the special grace of God.
So, what's your creative process like when you are good? Is it comedy that drew you into acting or vice versa?
All right, so they are all in the arts, right? Comedy is performing arts, right? Same as acting. Just that, you know, they took it to screen. So the basis for acting and comedy is not far. Comedy stand-up comedy in itself, we write scripts, we write stories, we write jokes. And in the process of telling jokes, we act out. Most times, if you're a good stand-up comedian, you must know how to use your gestures very well. It's all part of the skills you need as an actor. So the distance is not far. That's why all over the world, all the big comedians, you know, they also double as actors. Because at some point, if you don't go, it will call you. Do you understand? Because it's not far. Comedy is monologue. Acting is dialogue. The only difference between the two is that you are not running your lives with another person.
Both of them are log.
You know?
Okay. There's this thing that's been making the rounds about copyright.
Yeah.
Comedians stealing each other's jokes.
Yeah.
I heard one of our guests the other day was telling us how comedians beat up each other backstage.
Bloody something, no?
Eh?
Never seen. So I'm very happy that I know it's not that deep. Atayera is taking me.
What you said, bloody?
She wants to guide herself from principalities. No. That was just a metaphor. But you know, I'm very happy that you mentioned this. Anytime I'm in this space, I always like to touch on these issues. Is becoming a cankerworm in the industry. There are a lot of people now like that. Plagiarism is, because you don't even know the original owners anymore. You know, I was at home one day and somebody called me and said, "Guy, you are performing in VI now." I said, "No, I did sleep for hours." He said, "No, I know what I'm saying. You are performing in VI now. This person I'm watching here is behaving exactly like you. He's cracking your jokes, he's using your gestures, he's using your mannerism, and I'm at home sleeping." Well, the good side is that he's helping me to promote my, you know, while I'm at home, he's giving people, you understand? But I mean, it's painful that, you know, because a lot of work goes into creating jokes.
Those jokes.
You don't want to know. Sometimes you must have failed at cracking the joke the first time before you will now see loopholes. Then you go back. Then somebody will now wait for you to arrange everything. So what we do now, what I advise my colleagues now, is we know that we don't have a system yet to fight copyrights and all that. So this is what I advise my colleague. If you have a good joke, repeat it. That way you can own it. At least before somebody will now come and tell you, you get the way you go down TikTok and you go, no, we know that this is the person that owns this thing. Because that is the only way. That's what I do now. If I have a very good joke and I do it the first time, maybe in a hotel stage and it lands well, I see people like it, I will do it again. Do you understand? We'll do it again. By the time you repeat that joke 5 times on like 5 big different platforms, anybody that wants to go and steal it automatically is just being shameless.
Now, when you got into the business, what were the challenges that you faced?
So at the time, when I got in, people were still doing CDs, like VCDs. When you do a show, that time, you will record it on VCD, then you take it to maybe Alaba for somebody to print it. So those were some of the challenges. Reach, distribution was one major challenge. You know, people were not savvy with the internet as it is now, right? So that was one. Then another thing is still the same, you know, trying to find, I as a business graduate, I know that if I want to sell a product in a saturated market, I have to look for a unique selling point. So trying to find the thing that will set me aside was a lot of assignments for me, because I didn't want to just come in and just make it just funny. Because I know that was the only way I can sell. So I had to look for a niche, right? And I tried out different characters on stage. I risked many things, trying to do stuff that random people don't do. Like, for example, when you hear Clean the Drunk, what comes to your mind? There's a niche. Nobody performs like that. When you hear Kenny Black, you know, there's that. So I just looked at, I needed to create something. So one day I thought about going on stage angry. Act like I'm angry with everybody. Like I don't care about the audience. And just tell jokes. And I did it the first time at a comedy club. Somebody called me and said, this thing you do, I don't know if it's an actor, but you enter. And I tried it again, and before you knew it, it became a brand. People started calling me Angry Bird. That was my into the industry. So even if you don't know my name,
Angry Bird.
Even if you don't know, that guy where they angry for stage, That was my niche.
So when is your next angry session?
So I'm doing a therapy, this anger management 101. Everybody they invest for
That's
the
name of your show?
No. The name of my show, of course, is Coming From Insanity.
Okay.
My forthcoming show. Yeah, so Coming From Insanity is marking my 10 years on stage.
Okay.
Yeah. So I titled it Coming From Insanity because, you know,
Anyway, getting angry is insanity in itself. So
do you understand? Do you understand? You know, that's another angle if you want to look at it like that. And also, you know, my journey so far, some things that, so most of the things I'm going to be talking about the show is my journey as a comedian, right? Things I've observed in the industry. So me, I try to not just crack jokes, I try to also, you know, talk on topical issues. When people, you know, I discovered that one of the things I learned from Alibaba, anytime I go to his office, anytime he talks, I always speak that thing. He would say that don't be that type of comedian that people just find funny. When you tell a joke in a show, they just find you funny. They can't take what you said in that place home.
Leave a message.
Yes. Everybody can be funny, but what you are saying is it going to go with that person? Once that person leaves that door, will that person remember, man, this guy said was funny, but this thing they happen, no? This thing they happen. Like the clip, I was doing a satire on police. You know, I was just trying to like point out some things that I was using humor to just point out something I feel like if the Nigerian police can work on. You know, we need to do these things as comedians too, you know, so that people don't just laugh and there's no message, there's no, yeah.
So when is this anger management? Oh, sorry. What is this other one?
It's like
anger management 101.
You need anger management. You have a friend that all these kind of people that will tell you, I'm not angry. They're angry. Trust me, I'm not angry, but I just want to tell you my mind.
So
yeah, on the 15th of June, at the S-Block Studios, Lekki Phase 1. Yeah, Coming From Insanity, it promises to be. I have some of my other colleagues too that will be. So it's not just myself. Yeah, I have Clean the Drum.
If you start advertising now, you will pay money.
Okay, sorry.
I heard you.
Okay. Sorry.
But you talked about anger management. You have not finished talking about that one.
Yeah, anger management. So when I started doing that anger thing, it just, so there have been some guys now, you know, I'm at home, but people are sending me clips and I think, this person they do like you, but you know the thing, you can't beat originality, right? Because somebody who created something is the only person that knows the source.
Yeah.
So when people do that thing, if it's just like if I come on stage and I'm acting like I'm drunk, I'm just reminding you of Clean the Drum. I'm reminding you of somebody that you know already because the person has created a brand off that stuff. Yeah.
Well, we have to thank you very much for...
Thank you for having me.
Coming From Insanity.
I'm not coming yet. It's that day we come from the insanity. I'm still on the road. Bus stop plenty.
Happiness Ikechukwu, H Prince, Angry Bird,
yes, sir.
Comedian of the Federal Republic, actor, event host, and seasoned writer. We can only wish you all the best, and thank you so much for gracing our studio today.
Thank you for having me.
And that is how we end Sunrise for today, the last day of May in the year of the Lord 2025. Do join us next week, the first edition in June, for another exciting package. I'm Alero Edu, wishing you all the best. And, next week is Salah. Well, I suppose Happy Salah would be in order.
Is it the meat-eating one?
Yes, it is the meat-eating one.
Jolly. Amaya Makinde, see you next week.
Bye.